Good evening and welcome. I am in my kitchen tonight, obviously, and I wanted to show you how I bake some bread. So after last night's video, I posted for Yule. We are in day 2 of Yule, and then Christmas is just around the corner. So one of the things that I mentioned in that video was that I enjoy baking and doing some cooking. So I thought that a bread recipe might be a good choice. It's fairly easy. I know a lot of people sometimes they don't really feel comfortable baking bread with the yeast and having to wait for it to rise, that there's an aspect of confusion about it, and people sometimes tend to stay away from baking it, but it's really not that difficult. There are a lot of videos on YouTube with people showing you how easy it is to bake bread. And I'm gonna add to those hundreds and hundreds of videos that are out there now showing you how to easily bake bread. All right, so I wanted to just briefly go over some of the ingredients that I have to make this bread. So I've got 3 1/4 cups of flour, and the flour that I'm using tonight is King Arthur, and it's unbleached organic bread flour. So we're gonna give this a try. And then I have 1 1/2 cups of warm water. So I've got that right here ready to go. And then I have 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and I'm just using Morton's kosher salt. And then I have this brand of yeast, Red Star yeast. It comes in a 3-pack, and I'm using 1/2 teaspoon of yeast. And that's it. I have a large bowl. I was going to use my brand new mixing bowl, but I don't think that it's going to be large enough, especially once the dough starts to rise. It's going to need some adequate space to expand. So measuring spoons have already been used, so I'll put those aside, but I have a spatula, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I'm going to tilt this down so that you have a better view of the mixing process. All right, I'm back. Hopefully this view is a little bit better. So I have my 1 1/2 cups of water. I'll just go ahead and put those in the bowl. And then I have my 3 1/4 cups of flour. The 1/2 teaspoon of yeast. And then the 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. So I'm just going to gently incorporate these ingredients together. And this is a recipe that you do not have to whisk, and you do not have to knead the dough either. Show you where we are here with what it's looking like. Clean fingers, of course. I'm just going to, I'm not kneading it, but I'm just moving the dough around this a little bit so that I can pick up any of the extra dough and flour that are off to the side, that are stuck to the side of the bowl. All right, so this is what our dough is looking like right now. So I'll just pick this up and show you what it's looking like right now. And I think I may actually use my new bowl for this. So I'm going to just wash my hands and I'll be right back. All right, I am back with clean hands, and I just dusted a little bit more flour over the top of our dough ball here. And just one last blot with the dough. See if we can get any more extra dough out of the bowl here. And then I'm just going to take it and drop it right into our glass bowl. So what I'm going to do is take a towel and I'm going to cover this up, and I'm going to place this in the pantry for the next 12 to probably 18 hours or so. I know that the dough can sit a little bit longer than that, maybe up to 24 hours, but that won't be the case. I will be back tomorrow after this has had a chance to rise, and we will go from there. We will preheat the oven and I will show you what we will be baking this bread in. So we'll be back tomorrow, and we will finish the process of baking this bread. All right, so I did decide to use this bowl instead of the larger bowl that I used to mix the dough in. I feel like maybe, first of all, I like glass over plastic anyway. I think this might be okay. We'll see. We'll see how much room this dough needs to expand. So I might come back and the towel may be ballooned up a little bit, but we'll see what we have tomorrow in 12 to 18 hours, and we'll get to baking this bread. All right, I look forward to it. All right, it is the next day, and we're going to take a look at our bread dough. It has been sitting for about 19 hours or so. So we're going to go and take a look at what we've got here. So it has risen. Smells good. So what I've got here is I've got some flour and clean hands. I'm just going to shake some flour onto a piece of parchment paper. And then I will also flour my fingertips as well to help remove this dough. Now it might seem a little bit dry on the top. So the top layer was a little bit dry, but only because even though it had the towel over it, that part was exposed to air, while the part that was actually in the bowl is moister and has not been exposed to any air at all. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull this back here a little bit. Let me see if I can hold you down a little bit here. So I've got flour. And what I'm doing is I'm basically bringing up the edges to the center. Edges to the center. I'll flour this up my fingertips a little bit more. You want to make sure too that the bottom of this is not moist or wet when we put it into the oven. So we don't want to overwork it too much, just bringing those edges in to the center. So I have two Dutch ovens. I have this one, this red one I've had for probably 25 years or so. And then I also have a cast iron Dutch oven, and it has 3 or 4 feet on it. It's a little bit more difficult to place in the oven just because of the feet and having to put it on a rack. I have to situate the feet in such a way that they go through the slots in the rack. Now, I have not used this one before, so I think we're going to use this one today to bake this bread. 450 degrees for 30 minutes. And while that is heating up, we are going to pop this back in the bowl. And we're going to let this rise for 30 more minutes. So while this is heating in the oven, preheating in the oven at 450 for 30 minutes, this is going to sit and rise for 30 more minutes. And so when this is heated up, I'll be back and we will put the bread in the oven. Okay, we're back for the final stages of baking this bread. So we've got the dough that's been rising for 30 minutes while the Dutch oven has been preheating at 450 for 30 minutes as well. And so I did go ahead and wash this bowl out before I place the dough back in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this Dutch oven out of the oven. All right, you'll want to be very mindful of the fact that the lid is very hot. So when you take your lid off of this, set it down, but leave a pot holder nearby the top of the lid so that you don't forget and accidentally pick that up. So we had a little bit of steam come off of there. This is very, very hot at 450. And then we're going to just take our bread that's in the parchment paper. And I'm just going to drop it in there. I'm going to just place the lid. This is so hot that the heat is coming through just one of these. I need to make sure we have that lid on there securely, make sure it's on all the way. And then we're going to put this back in the oven. So we're still at 450 degrees and the bread is going to bake for 30 minutes with the lid on. Okay, so then after the 30 minutes of baking with the lid on, we will remove it from the oven, take the lid off, and then allow it to cook for an additional 15 minutes. And then that'll be it. All right, our bread has been baking for about 30 minutes now, and I'm going to remove it from, and we're going to take a quick look at how it's looking. And this is what our bread is looking like. Nice and crusty. And it will need to return to the oven for an additional 15 minutes without the lid this time. So we're going to place it back in the oven for 15 more minutes. All right, welcome back. So the bread has had a really good opportunity to cool down, and I've cut into it. So I just want to show you what it's looking like. Lots of little air pockets. I like a bread that has air pockets, but I like a bread too that is also smooth like this. But as far as the weight of it, it's got some weight to it. This is a hearty loaf of bread. It really is, and it just smells so good. And for as easy as it is to make, and you saw how easy it was to put the dough together, make that, let it sit, and then to just bake it off. This is something that you can be proud of, and it's a great accomplishment to be able to bake a loaf of bread all on your own, so, and have it look so rustic and like something that you would buy in a bakery. So please give it a try. Don't be intimidated by the bread making process. It's really not to be intimidated by at all. You can do this, I promise. So that's it. I hope you give it a try. And if you do, let me know. Leave a comment. And if you're liking the content on this channel, please consider subscribing. And sharing videos with other people that you know. All right, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. This is the second day of Yule that we are in right now. This needs to heat up in the oven at 400 degrees. No, I take that back. Our bread has had a good chance to